Hello everyone. This video is part of a series where we are developing a microservices-based social media application with the main goal of learning the microservices pattern. We're also interested in the main challenges and some of the solutions to these challenges when it comes to microservices. Here is an overview of the tasks we are currently working on. We are currently in the authentication service, and our plan for the near future includes the front-end client, some Kubernetes and some Kafka initial setup, and then a dedicated notification service that will be used to send emails to our users. Here's a more detailed roadmap if you're interested in having a look at each specific task that we have in mind for the near future. You can pause the video and have a look at this diagram. In the previous video, we have finished or virtually finished our mock email API, at least for our current needs. The API is working as expected. And in this video, we will start with the actual implementation of services that can send, and here I mean services not in the context of microservices, but just with the functionality that allows us to send notifications or allows us to send emails or actual emails to our users. So here is a diagram, quick diagram overview of what we are going to implement. So if you are following these videos, you are already familiar with the email sender class. And this is our singleton class, which is then going to make use of an email API to actually send the emails, right? And we have also implemented the mock email API, right? This is already implemented. And the email sender is also implemented. What we will start working on now is to implement a node mailer email API, which is going to leverage the node mailer package in order for us to be able to actually send emails to our users. And in order to send some emails, we need a service, right? So Node Mailer doesn't do that out of the box. It's simply an interface that is sitting between our application and some SMTP server that actually sends the messages. So we can have whichever service, whichever SMTP server we want to use in order to send these emails in the end. Maybe you don't like to work with Mailjet, maybe you want to work with another SMTP server, maybe with SendGrid, for example. It's up to you. So we will design our classes, we'll follow the same principles that we were following with the email sender to make things pluggable, right? It's the idea of the open closed system. If you're not familiar with this concept, it basically says that a class should be closed for modifications but open for extensions, right? Or if you invert that, a class should be open for extension but closed for modifications. And if this sounds a little bit weird, the principle is really straightforward, at least in theory, of course, but it simply says that, okay, if I want to add more functionality to my class, I should do so, or I should be able to do so, not by changing the code of that original class, but by adding new code to the project. And that's exactly what we are going to do here. So the email sender class is going to change virtually nothing, maybe some renaming that we do during the implementation, but it will stay as it is. The mock email API will also stay as it is, and we will add functionality to our email sender by adding a new class, a node mailer email API, that will not require us to change the code of email sender, but it will allow us to add new functionality by adding new code, right? And this, we will also take this principle further, and within the node mailer email API, we are not going to hard code any SMTP server. We will enable behavior extension by using the same principle of setting the SMTP or setting an SMTP server by receiving some external SMTP server class, which then allows us to extend the behavior by creating these different classes that we want to work with, right? So we'll follow this principle in this video, and I think it's a very nice principle, very easy to work with, and very flexible, very scalable as well for our application. So you see that, okay, if I don't want to work with any of the SMTP servers that we will implement in this video, I have a template. I can create my own SMTP server. I can use my own configuration, and this is going to work just fine. We don't need to touch the NodeMailer email API. So for testing, right, for development, we will also leverage another tool, and maybe you noticed already here there is this weird SMTP server here, this NodeMailer app SMTP server. And this is an application that you can install in your machine. So here is the page. I will add this to the link of this video. I'll add the link to the description of this video, because you can download this in your macOS, in your Windows, in your Linux application. So I installed it for macOS, and it's very straightforward to work with. And the goal of this tool is that you can actually start a local, or not only start a local SMTP, so that's not the main goal, but it includes a local SMTP server that we can set up in our application, and we can send emails to this local SMTP server, and we don't need to consume our quota from the Mailjet API, right? So we can create a NodeMailer app SMTP server, and when we are in development, when our node end variable is equal to development, then we will populate our NodeMailer email API with the NodeMailer app SMTP server, and this is going to be used whenever we send email. So this is much easier to work with, I think, because we don't need to worry about consuming our quota from other paid services, right? So I will add a link to this NodeMailer app in the description of this video, and here is how it looks like. So there is a local server, and at the moment the local server is stopped. It doesn't matter, you can see this username and password because this is just for local purposes. If you try to access this in my machine, you're not going to be able to. But we can start this project by clicking on Start Server, right? So in Mac there is a bar here at the top that I think in the video you cannot see, but if I click on server, then there is the possibility of starting the server. And then it says that the server is currently running. So now if I use NodeMailer and I create a transporter with these credentials here, and I say transporter.sendMail, then it's going to send the email to our local SMTP server, and I will be able to see it in this list, right? So that's it for this video. This was a more structural introduction video for the tools that we'll be using in the next videos. And if you want to get notifications every time I upload a new video, so if you want to be informed about whenever I make videos public, especially in this social media application playlist, which I expect to have a lot more videos, then make sure to subscribe to the channel and you will get a notification every time I upload a new video. So in the next video, we'll come back and start the actual implementation of our NodeMailer email API class. Yeah, until then, thank you very much for your time, and bye-bye.